We've got a very good group that's working very, very hard. We've been sold out 3 straight years. We're expecting to do it a 4th season. And the support for our program has been tremendous. And we've been to the NCAA tournament 3 straight years as well. So we're hoping to do that for a 4th time.
In your mind, you have at this point 3 certain starters in terms of likes and Lawrence. And
no, I have 5 certain starters. I just don't know who they are.
But are those 3? Are those 3 going to be?
Well, at this stage of the season, there are a lot of options available to us, and right now, my main concern is getting everybody healthy, because we haven't been 100% healthy since last season ended. Chris Likes had shoulder surgery. DJ Vasiljevic broke his ankle and was out for 3 months with that. Zach Johnson, 5th-year transfer from Florida Gulf Coast, who had a tremendous summer, was very excited about him. He's been out for a month with a knee condition. I wouldn't even say injury. I think some of it just a little bit strange. And then we've had various other guys with a little bit of a back issue or a sprained ankle or what have you. So we haven't been at 100% where all scholarship players are here and available to us to prepare. So right now there's still a lot of decisions that have to be made.
Who in that group is questionable to start the regular season on time?
Well, the regular season doesn't start for another month. So
but is Zach, for example, is the knee something?
I hope Zach practices today, but I don't know for sure. I get the word from our trainer, an update daily, and today Zach, for the first time, is going to be cleared to basically start practice and go through a certain amount. He's not going to be able to do everything. He's not going to do any defensive drills. And our main focus right now is on building the defense properly.
How limited is DJ at this point?
DJ has been 100% since about, let's say today is October 9th. I'll say since the middle to end of September. So he wasn't with us early September, but as we got to mid-September, he was able to do more and more, and now he's 100%.
And Chris?
Chris Likes been 100% since the school year began, but we didn't have him for a good portion of the summer. He had his surgery in April, so he was out all of May, all of June, all of July, and part of August. And then when we came back school at the end of August, he was back and practicing full go.
Not on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, how different style-wise do you think your team will be with missing guys like the guys that
Yeah, we're going to miss Bruce Brown and Lonnie Walker, but also Jaquan Newton. When you think about Jaquan, he scored over 1,000 career points. He and Bruce and Lonnie shared a bulk of the ball handling in addition to Chris Likes. And so we're kind of adapting to that. We're not very deep at the guard position. Chris and DJ are the only 2 guards, the way I look at it, that handle the ball a lot and are expected to score a lot. We have other guys like Anthony Mack, who's a freshman for us, first year, learning the ropes. He's got good size, good strength, good shooting ability, good range on that shooting ability, but he's learning. And and we don't consider him a ball handler and a guy who creates shots. He's more of a guy who shoots it. So we need Zach Johnson back, because like Chris Likes, he can create shots for himself and for others.
So your style will be more on the perimeter, do you think? Or?
No, I think we'll be like we've always been, or try to be, is well balanced. If you look at our team last year, we had Lonnie Walker in double figures, Chris Likes in double figures, Jaquan Newton in double figures, DeJuan Hernandez, for those of you who don't know, DeJuan Hernandez, Dewan Ewell changed his name officially. He's now Dewan Hernandez. So those guys averaged double figures. Anthony Lawrence was close to double figures. Abuka Zundu scored in double figures on many occasions. So, we feel like we've got some guys back with some scoring ability. So we feel good about that.
You have no true freshmen on this year's team after relying on freshmen a lot last year. Just how different has that been kind of this summer as you get ready for the year?
Well, despite the fact we don't have true freshmen, we have a lot of new guys.
Yeah.
So Zach Johnson is a fifth-year senior, but he's first-year player in our program. Anthony Mack, first-year player in our program. Dane Gak sat out last year, so this will be his first appearance in a Miami uniform. So we do have some new faces, new guys that we're trying to incorporate into our system. And we have Rodney Miller, who is very different than the Rodney Miller of last year. He almost looks like a different person. He's down from 275 pounds to 250 pounds and practicing very well, trying to figure out how we can take advantage of a guy with his kind of ability.
Coach, with Dewan coming back this year, how vital was that for this team for him to return?
Oh, it was critical for Dewan to return. But I think critical not only for us, but for him. He's working on his skill level. I think you're going to see a much better skilled version of himself. I think he's shooting over my shoulder and making some threes, which is something he's done progressively better throughout his career. And I think now you're going to see him making some of these under game conditions. But we're going to need he and Buka and Rodney really giving us an inside presence and scoring in around the basket, because we have some other guys who can score on the perimeter, mainly Chris Likes, DJ Vasilovich, Zach Johnson, Sam Wardenberg, and Anthony Lawrence. So we're going to need those other three guys, Dewan, Buka, and Rodney, to give us that inside game.
Jim, I know matchups has a lot to do. I'm sorry, Matt, just one quick thing. I know matchups have a lot to do with it, but do you feel like your team is better with Dewan at 5 and Anthony at 4, or Dewan at 4 and Anthony at 3, and playing a bigger lineup with a Zundu or someone at 5?
It's a question that we keep asking ourselves daily. What's our best starting lineup and rotation? What would be our substitution pattern? At this moment in time, we are playing Anthony Lawrence primarily at the 3. He has spent very little time at the 4, primarily because Dewan Ewell's added some skill and Sam Wardenberg has added some experience. So if those two guys are sharing the 4 spot, then Anthony Lawrence will likely play mostly at the 3 and sparingly at the 4, which last year was the opposite. He played primarily at the 4 and sparingly at the 3.
You mentioned Anthony. That's what I was going to ask about. We're talking to him. How does he fit at the 3?
Have you talked to him already?
After you. But
Are you speaking to him next?
Yes. So talk about his skill set.
I'll be curious to what he says.
Talk about his skill set, what he can do with the 3 for you, that you like.
Well, he's always been able to play the 3 offensively. That's not the issue. He can handle the ball, he can shoot the ball, he can pass the ball. It's at the other end of the court where you're asked to play a perimeter player, you're asked to chase a guy. And Anthony has always been very, very good at guarding inside guys. He's good at taking advantage of his quickness. Whereas on the perimeter, he's guarding really quick guys. So it's a challenge for him. He's working on it. He's getting better. But I think it'll be a challenge for him all season long.
With that lineup, then, with Anthony at 3 and then Dewan at 4 with some Sam, does that suggest that you have confidence that between Deng and Azundu and Rodney Miller, you have enough at 5 to play those 3 primarily as your 5 all year?
Well, when you say all year, you're, I assume, including the entire season. We don't look at it that way. We have to plan for the non-conference and every single individual opponent. So there are going to be nights we have to play small because we can't match up with big guys versus small guys based on maybe a team's three-point shooting ability. Whereas when we get into league play and we're playing against teams whose roster is just bigger, and we match up better with a bigger lineup, then we'll make that adjustment on a game-to-game basis.
How does DeJuan's role change with Lonnie and Bruce gone?
Well, you know, last year DeJuan was our leading scorer and second leading rebounder throughout the months of November and December. Conference play became a little bit different, primarily because we lost Bruce Brown. And Bruce was such a good player at facilitating, getting other guys involved. We have players like a DJ Vasiljevic who never turns the ball over, but he doesn't get a lot of assists either. So he's not the kind of player that's going to create shots for DeJuan Ewell like Bruce Brown did. Chris Likes is a high-octane scorer. He's also a very good passer. His role actually impacts DeJuan's more, because he's not only going to have to score, he's going to have to facilitate like Bruce did. And that's one of the reasons why we need Zach Johnson healthy and practicing and playing well. He's trying to adapt to a new school, a new system, a new style, and he is closer to being like Bruce as a facilitator, where he can score and dish at an equally high level.
With that in mind, Jim, do you lean then maybe toward pairing Zach with Chris as your starting backcourt as opposed to DJ because he's not a facilitator like Chris, or Mac?
Well, it's a good question. It won't be answered for a long time until Zach knows our system, which is going to take more than a day or two. You know, even if he practices now until the end of October, he's been out a month. So he's behind in many categories. He's a smart kid, he's an experienced player, so it's much different than a freshman. Lonnie Walker went through this last year. Lonnie Walker ended up our leading scorer, but he didn't start for us until January. So we have to you know, kind of evaluate that. But while Zach is going to be a key contributor, by moving Anthony Larran to the 3 spot, he may take on more of that Bruce Brown role, not DJ. And I think Anthony is very capable of doing that.
Let's get one more question and then we'll get the players in. I think always challenge every season. How different is the challenge this season? Because like you said, there's so much uncertainty on who's going to do it.
Well, I think for coaches, unless you have a real veteran squad with very few new guys, at this time of year, you are trying to build a foundation of what you can build on during the season. And that's where we are right now. One of our goals from the very first day we arrived at the University of Miami was to build a tradition, a strong foundation. So now we've got 3 straight years in the NCAA tournament, 3 straight years with sellout crowds. We're trying to build on that, and the way we want to do it is have our veteran players lead these new guys, bring them along as quickly as possible, so we have a well-balanced team where we can score inside, we can score outside. We can shoot the 3, but we can also penetrate and throw the lob, or penetrate and pitch for a 3. We want to be able to defend big teams and small teams, quick teams and powerful teams. We got to be able to play fast, we got to be able to play slow, because in the ACC, what makes it so challenging is the styles of play vary from the way Virginia plays to the way Carolina plays. Those are 2 very different styles. And if you can't adjust to that, or make the opponent adjust to you, then you're going to have difficulties. Right now, we're kind of an underdog this year. The preseason polls have picked us 10th, 11th, and 12th. So not even the coaches in our league are thinking that Miami is as strong as we've been in the past. But we've never finished lower than projected. We've always finished higher than projected. We want that also to be consistently achieved.
Jim, have you or your assistants, administration, I guess, for lack of a better word, heard it all from the FBI in recent months, and do you feel like you're in the clear?
No, we don't really discuss that. We're focused on preparing our team for the season. Everybody is doing their job. We're doing our job. Our administrators do their job. The people in New York, they do their job.
Thank you.